In November, the Sioux City Community School District proposed a list of budget reductions that it says would leave the district in a better spot financially.
Yeah, and some of those proposed cuts are expected because of the loss of ESSER funds, but others could have a lasting impact on some programs. KTIV's RJ Breen joins us live in studio to detail the budget reductions and how they could impact the district. So RJ, what do all the potential cuts really mean?
Well, Matt and Jessica, a lot of the cuts that are listed on the district's proposed plan are, as you said, expected, but district officials say others are, quote, purely financial. ESSER is known as Elementary and Secondary School Emergency Relief Funding. Basically, for you folks at home, it's COVID-19 pandemic relief money given to the district. ESSER funds were added to help the district respond to and prevent learning loss because of the pandemic. At the November 27th school board meeting, the fiscal year 2024-2025 proposed budget was laid out. In the outline, $7.6 million will need to be cut due to the loss of those ESSER funds at the end of the 2023-2024 school year. 65 staff members will also be affected by the budget reductions, including building consulting teachers, permanent substitutes, and certified nursing assistants. Associate Superintendent Angela Bemis insists the loss of ESSER funds will not affect district operations.
We always had what was required, but the requirement, right, we always want to be better. Right. And so the COVID dollars allowed us to really kind of go where we've never been able to go before and say, okay, let's put all these things in place.
According to the district, many of the employees impacted will need to reapply for positions within the district. This would include teachers with degrees and certifications. Staff reductions are just one component of the plan for the 2024-2025 school year. There are also non-staff items that will be reduced. The exact amounts of some of these items are still being reviewed currently by the district. In the proposed plan, the district would no longer use its lease at the Ho-Chuk Center as it had before. The space is no longer needed with the expansion of the Career Academy. The district would also change district cell phones to a stipend-based item rather than provided. This would save the district about $50,000. A program called Iowa's Jobs for America's Graduates, or IJAG, would also be absorbed by the district rather than be outsourced elsewhere. The district's Memorandum of Understanding partners for emotional support staff would also be lowered. The district will also eliminate expanded connectivity for distributed wireless hotspots, which cost them roughly $250,000. The district also made the recommendation to close 2 of the district's 3 indoor pools as part of the budget reduction, which would save them $50,000 per pool. Parochial school busing would also be affected as well. In total, the district would save roughly $750,000 with these non-staff cuts. And within those reductions, as I had said, have a potential of impacting swimming teams and clubs in Sioux City. There was a similar situation in the 2000s when district pools closed because of spending and operation costs. I talked with Eric Coach, who's the head coach of the Sioux City Spartans swim team, about the impact of the budget reductions on his team and the sport.
Most of the pools are on the back side of a gym where nobody sees them, so they don't know that they're there. All they see is it's a big hole and we have to put a bunch of money into it.
The Sioux City Community School District's proposed budget for the 2024-2025 school year suggests 2 district pools be closed: East High, North High, and West High.
So right now, our recommendation is to keep open the West High pool. And the reason is it's our only pool that's ADA compliant. So the other 2 pools are not ADA compliant. Therefore, that's our rationale.
According to the district, the pools cost around $50,000 each to operate in a year, with thousands more repairs needed to be done. That includes a boiler to the East High pool and other upkeep. You see, the pools are over 50 years old. Eric Hoke coached the Sioux City Spartans for the last 12 years and sees the long-term benefits of having a swim team despite these costs.
This is a much bigger picture of what the real world is, so to speak. You're going to have kids from the farm. You're going to have kids from higher income, from lower income, from different backgrounds, different abilities that all come together and become one team.
The Spartans serve 9 schools across Northwest Iowa. 2 youth programs also use the pools, the Mariners and the Sharks. Hoke says that swimming offers something more than most traditional sports are able to.
One thing that I tell the kids really at the beginning of the season, it says, whether you're a JV swimmer or whether you're a varsity swimmer, I'm going to guarantee you that you're going to compete. You're not going to come out for the team, do all the same work that I ask you for everybody else, and just sit out. You get to travel with us, you get to compete in a meet, You get to race, you get to do your own thing.
Hoke says he hopes the district sees the value in having a swimming program in the city and hopes to come up with a resolution before the 2024-2025 school year to keep the pools open. Reporting in Sioux City, Iowa, RJ Breen, KTIV News 4. The district says it is open to hearing ideas about how to raise money in order to keep the pools open. District officials also want to stress this is just a proposal for the budget reductions. A tentative public hearing is set for April 22nd, and the budget must be certified by April 30th. Nothing is final right now. Matt, Jessica, back to you.